All right, there we go. Remember to hit record. Um, we're getting close with the content. Um, Halfway through, a little more than halfway through the textbook portion of it here. And then we'll flip over after the midterm to just looking at a bunch of different libraries, other cool, fun stuff. There's lots of resources available online for how to use specific libraries, lots of good demos, lots of fun examples that we'll get into when we get there. I think we got through all of what we needed to for networked programs. The beautiful soup library does lots of really fun stuff if you want to go out and parse raw HTML pages. But I want to pull the web services bit ahead just a little bit here so we can do that for our next project because that is the really fun stuff. Having to parse websites by hand is cool and interesting if there's not some sort of web service or API we can hit. So that should be our last resort, not our first tool here. So we'll try and get something going with our web services for our next project. So we got to talk about the solution for project 2, files project, so we can get going on this one. And then we'll talk about project 3, and we'll get into our Python web services, at least get started on it so you can have enough to get started on the project. All right. So this was our little simulator. Let me fire up PyCharm here. Does anybody get excited about retirement savings after doing this? Really? It's like exciting to see the compound growth. Usually, if you start early and start saving, and we'll show some demos and examples here, you end up with a decent balance here. But if you start very late in life, you can save twice as much, and you still don't have as much money. So, uh, yeah.
I still don't have access to that info. Oh,
Did you check your email or go to the orgs page on your GitHub profile?
yeah.
All right. If you send me your GitHub username, I can get you access to it. Did you just put it in the old one?
Bro, I emailed you, but I think I may have like the wrong email or something because names are
All right, so I got a bunch of them here. I might have just missed it. If you don't get a reply from me right away, just ping me again. I probably just missed it. And just send me what you have somehow.
okay.
All right, fire up a new project. Make sure I'm in the right folder. All right, so we had to read in our file for the stocks and bonds rates. Let me go download that one here. And then again, relative is easiest here, so I'm just going to drop it in that project folder. Grab the stocks and bonds file, and then we'll throw that in this folder here. Too many pop-ups. Oh, that was the wrong one. This one. Open it. Project 2. So if it's here, I should just be able to read it. I'm going to get rid of that 2 there because that's kind of ugly. Let me grab the name here. Now, this one is a CSV file, so I could go use the CSV reader on it. Not anything that's quoted in here, nothing really super special. I don't think we need to use the CSV reader for it. You could if you wanted to. This one should be pretty easy to just parse manually here. Just look for commas and split them here. And again, the slightly harder bit here was we just have to ignore our percent signs. Right, so trim those off is all. So a couple ways we can go about that here. So that's our file. Right? Uh, that. Okay. So starting getting some basic info here, and we're going to loop a bunch of times after having read that file here. So we'll have a couple different values here. So like mattress money starts at 0. Bank money. Is there 2 T's in mattress? Really? Okay. Bank money is 0. Bond money 0, and stocks money. Or we could go ask them for what their starting balances are. That's probably easier than starting at 0, right? Um, yeah, for their 4 starting balances. Okay. So we need their age, current age is an int of an input. How old are you? And then retirement age, int of an input. How old do you to be when you retire? Right, and then I guess we can do the starting balances for those here. Um, an input, probably an int. I don't think people are going to tell us how many pennies they have under their mattress. You could do a float if you wanted to. Sure, we'll do floats. Why not? Just in case. An input. How much do you have saved under your mattress? And hopefully with all of this, you're seeing that is a bad place to save money here. Right, and then saved in your bank, saved in a bank account, I guess. Sure, in a bank account. Um, I don't know, invested, if you want to call it that, in bonds. It's probably, we can call that invested, right? Invested in stocks. All right, so we get some starting balances here. And then for every year until they retire, we're going to let them put some money in and then apply our return on investment. So we should go read that file out here. Oh, goodness, not the zeros. All the red there. So we need to go read out our file. So this can be our reader. So we can say with open bonds and stocks. Bonds and stocks. Look at that. It even picked up the name here. That's nice here. As data. Sure. So the first line, right, was the header we don't care about. We can get rid of that one. And then the next line, we don't even need the year here. This is just because it was historical. Just pulled this off someone's website here. So we really care about the second piece here and the third piece here, right? So when we go and grab every line here, so we can get rid of the first line, or we can grab all the lines here. So let's say all the lines is my data.read lines. We'll get all of them here. And then I need the next set of them here. So if I have my return, rate of returns, we could do separate ones for bonds and separate ones for stocks, or we could keep them as pairs. Either way is probably okay here. So let's do them separately, I guess. So we can do bonds is a list here, and then rate of returns for stocks is an empty list here. So we go through, we read all the lines, and then we can skip the first one, or just loop through one to the end. Right? When we loop through here, so we can say for index and range is the length of my lines. And we want to start at 1, right? So we can range from 1 up to there. So we skip the first one here. We'll take the first value here. So we're going to split the line first into tokens, right? We can split on the comma. Pretty safe, right? We know there's only commas here, so we can go split on commas. So we'll have the tokens, sure, is my lines lines of index dot split, and we want to split on a comma here. Lines of index split on the comma here. So now we have our tokens. That should give me this bit here and this bit here. So each one of these numbers, if it has a percent sign and I don't want the percent sign, I can just ignore it, right? I know it's always the last character, right? So we could go find the percent sign and get rid of it. We can remove percent signs, or because we know it's always the last character, we can just get rid of the last character. Just 5 different ways to do anything you want here. I'll say my rate of returns on bonds then is going to, we'll append the tokens index of 1. And now because that's a string, I'm going to slice the last character off, the -1. So we'll take that last character off here. And then all of that we want to turn into a float value here. So you can say, let's convert the tokens, the second piece here, right? Because we split it into 3 pieces, indexes 0, 1, and 2. Get rid of that last character, the percent sign, turn it into a float, append it to bonds. And we'll do the same thing for a rate of return for stocks. Oh, goodness. On our stocks, tokens of 2. Give me the third thing here, third token I have. You could do it all in one line if you wanted. Some people really like one-liners. I don't know. I don't. That's probably fine here. And then when we're done here, we should now have a list of rate of return for bonds and stock. Right. So if we wanted to just print off our rate of return, bonds, and print our rate of return for stocks, we could just print them off in C. Just run in the debug mode, see what we get here. Printing's not bad here. That's fine. Just give these a bunch of zeros. Oh, didn't trim off the percent sign. Why do we miss the percent sign? Well, tokens. All right, that's unfortunate. Well, let's try it in debug mode. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So we should have some tokens, right? Ah, there's the extra new line character. So I have 2 tokens I need to get rid of here. I can go back by 2 if I want, or we could, and this one here, we could call strip. But when we slice it here, it's going to get rid of it. So if this one dot strip and then slice, so this will get rid of any trailing new white lines, any leading white space here, and then we can go get that. So I just don't know if the last line is going to have. Okay, the last line will have the new line characters. We could just go into, or we could strip off the white space here. Hopefully one of those will work. Let's see. All right, cool. So we get some values, right? They look like they probably check out here. So we did our bonds first, and then our stocks. So we did bonds and stocks. Oh, they're backwards though. The first one was stocks, and the second one was bonds. That's what I get for not reading headers here. So we'll just flip those here. So this will be stocks first, and then it'll be bonds. All right, cool. So we've got reading our data out. Seems okay so far. Now we need to go and loop, right, until they retire, right? Either a while loop or for loop, whatever you want here. You just do a while loop while current age is less than the retirement age. We'll go do something, and then eventually we'll take our current age plus 1. Okay, sure, we can do that. So we need to go ask them then, do you want to add more money? Right? So sure, okay, do you want to add more money? Which to this account, this account, this account, this account, or stop? Probably fine here, right? So we'll say, I don't know, an input or a choice then is a int of an input, maybe. Why not? Do you want to? Have you seen the triple quoted strings? So you can do multiple lines all in one. Yeah, that's probably easiest here. So we can just triple quote this one here without having to do a bunch of appending. Getting it to line up is always obnoxious, though. That's okay. Triple quotes. So 1, add money to our mattress, savings, add money, bank savings, add money, bonds investment, add money to stocks investment, right? Or 5, go to next year. Sure. Should we do that as 0? Let's do that as 0. That way I can type a bunch of zeros to next year. That sounds like fun. So they just keep on going until they want to move to the next year. And then we'll apply the rate of return to the balances to all the accounts, and we'll tell them how much they have. So then while my choice does not equal 0, let's go do the thing. So if choice was 1, very exciting. Choice equals 1. We'll get the float of an input of how much money do you want to add. And then we can add that to our mattress money. Great. And if choice is 2, the same thing. Bank money. With choice is 3. I guess we could just do the input once, right? There we go. Let's do that. So if it's not 0, here's our money. Let's do that. Money is equal to that, and then we'll just add that to each one. It's the money plus the money. And elif choice is 4. Our stocks money plus equals the money. When that loop is done, then we have to go apply the return on investment. So nothing happens to the mattress money. Bank money gets multiplied by 1.02. Then our bonds money and stock money are going to go up based on, we could randomly pick one out. We could go in order. You just want to go in order?
Well, you gotta change your bonds.
The bonds. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Bonds. Bonds money.
Yes.
Bad copy paste. Plus money. Thank you. All right. So we've got current age. I've got retirement age. How do I know where zero is? Oh, maybe a for loop would have been better for that. Let's do a for loop then. So we can say for year in range, that'll be retirement age minus current age here. And I can use the year to get the index out. So each year will just be the index for those ones here. So then my bonds money can be multiplied by 1 plus my rate of return for bonds, index of the year. Right? Whatever that value was there, right? Let's go add it and multiply. Right? Now, these ones are not percentages though. So I think all of these need to be shifted, right, by 100. So when I add those in, otherwise we're going to get way too much here. Let's see. So all of that floating numbers then divided by 100, divided by 100. That should shift those over to actually be percentages here, right? Okay, that's not a 300% rate of return. That'd be pretty good, but I don't think that's practical, right? And then we'll do the same with our stocks money. Times equals 1 plus the rate of return for stocks, index of the year. And then we need to print them all out. Right? So we can print your current balances. Sure, we'll do them all. Mattress. If you add a dollar sign, make it look pretty. Mattress money. And then do we want to add like the comma separator maybe? Be nice. 0.02, just in case we're rounding. We shouldn't have to round the mattress money because it never grows, but we'll just be consistent for all of them here. So bank, bond, stocks, bank money, bonds money, stock money. Right, so we're printing each one of them and a total balance. All right, sure, total balance. Total. Now, if we need to write this at the end to a CSV file, we should probably store it somewhere. And writing a file, opening, writing, closing, opening, writing, closing, doing that 50 times is terribly slow here. So saving it all and writing it one time is much faster. So we could put all that information into a list somewhere, right? That'd be pretty nice. So why don't we make a list here for our uh, balances. So balances, sure, is a list. And then each one of those will put another list in. Right? So we write out a row with the CSV writer, you give it the list of lists, and it should write it out here. So the header row then is going to be our mattress savings, and then bank savings, and then bonds and stocks, bonds, stocks, and then a total, right? I think we're going to graph the total as well every time. Okay, so that'll be our header row. So then in balances, we can go and append all of those things here. Right? So there's our balances. We'll take all of those. Let's go add them in here. So we'll take our balances, dot append, and we're going to append a new list to it, right? Because it's a list of lists. And then it's going to have the mattress money. It's going to have the bank money. It's going to have the bonds money. It's going to have the stocks money, right? And then the total is the sum of all of those here. So if we go and append, what is it not like? Expected type string, match generic type T, got list of float instead. Mattress money. What does it not like? That's a list. Oh, sorry, list. Then we want to append the list of the headers. There we go. List of lists. Right now it was just a regular list. You're not a list of lists, right? No, that should have done it for the first one. I need more coffee this morning. Why does it not like that being a list? I think that's fine. I don't know. That's okay. Um, so we want to take our balances, index of the last thing here, and append to that last list there, last item in there, the sum of what's in there, balance of the last item. That's kind of gross, but it should sum up all of these without us having to do it again here. So add it to the end, grab the last thing, which should be the list of, right, because it's a list of lists, so grab the last list, sum up the last list, and add that to it. I think ought to work. We'll try it and see. And then total balance should already be calculated for us, which is nice. It'll just be that last value there. So that is our balances, last item in there, last item in that one. Right? Take the last thing in balances and take the last item of that item here. Hopefully it'll work here. And at current age, we don't need to do that anymore. Are we telling them? We're not telling them how old they are, what year it is here. All right. And then at the end, print for everything. We're doing that anyway here. And then the adjusted for inflation balance here. So at the very end, and we're all the way done here, we can print your total savings. Total savings adjusted for inflation is this number times, or no, to the power of 1.0, we said 2% for inflation, right? Yeah, 2% inflation. Power of 1.02, that times the number of years, right? To the power of, is that 1.02, sorry, I'm,
Times 1.2 to the power of the years.
oh, no, we want to go down though, shoot. So we want to divide by that. Right, so divided by 1.02 to the power of years. There we go. So that'll be our desired retirement age minus the current age. Like that. We can find formulas, I think. So 1.02 to the number of years it took us to retire should be the cumulative effect of inflation, right? 2%, and then 2% of that, 2% of that, 2% of that. And so then we'll divide by that value here to get our adjusted balance. Why does it not like got a oh, because it knows there's a string in there when I started. I think that's the problem. It's thinking it's a bunch of strings because I gave it strings, and it thinks I'm trying to do float stuff with that. I think that's all. We'll try it and see. Can give it a run. All right. Let's just put 1 and 2. We'll just do it for 1 year for now. Start with 0 in everything, and then we can go add some money. So 100 bucks the mattress. Oh dear, I never asked for choice again. You got an infinite loop. That should be inside here. So choice equals something that's not 0, like -1 or something stupid, right? So that the loop runs. Then we'll ask them, and then we'll do something here. All right, try it. 1 and 2, sure. Start with 0 on all the accounts. We'll go, oh, the tabbing's off now. Now it looks ugly. All right. $100, $100, $100, $100. Go to the next year. Right, how much money do we add? Right, we're doing this one time. 2 times? What was the retirement age? Did we say it was 2? So 2 minus 1. Should have done it 1 time, right? Current age minus current age. Why is it doing it more than once? No, we said 0. Oh, that's my prompt here. That's all it is. It's my prompt was after the choice here. Um, that's why. So goodness. All right, fine. If choice is not 0, if choice does not equal 0, then we'll ask. All right, that's obnoxious. One and two, 0, 0, 0, 0, $100, $100, $100, $100. Be all done. Oh, okay. It was close. Can't add ints and strings. So it failed trying to be cute adding this one here. Why did it fail? All right. 1 and 2. One, two, three, 4, 0. All right, so we got our balances then. Has just the list right now, right? And then when we go through, we should be able to add another list to it. Right? List and list. Nope. Okay. It does need to be a list of lists. I missed one more here. So it has to be the list of lists, so it gets added is in the correct location. It was taking the sum there. 1 and 2. All right, we'll just put money in to start. We don't have to add it. Go to the next year. No. 1 and 2. 100s. 0. So no balances. All right, first item is this list. Good. That's looking better. And then we'll go through. Our second one is this one, right? So then balances sliced of. I did 1. I didn't do -1. I don't want. I want -1 here. Give me the last thing there, not the slicing. Slicing was my issue. It was trying to take from 0 to 1, which would have been the first item in the list here, not the last item in the list. I don't want to. I don't want to slice it. I just want to grab the last one. So try that. 1 and 2, 100, 100, 100, 100. Go to the next year. Hey, all right. Oh, but what happened to our balances here? What did we do? That's not. Is it point comma 02? Point comma 02? Is that what I did wrong? Wow, that. All right, should we just Google that one? We'll just Google it. Python format for float, 2 decimal places, and digit separator. This does not need Copilot to go burn a bunch of energy to give me this answer right here, right? It doesn't need that. Colon 0.2f. Where's the one with the digit separator, though? That's 0.2f. I want the one with the digit separator. All right, maybe we do need the. Oh, it is comma first. That's what we had, right? You had the comma first? All right, hang on. Yeah, 0.02 is wrong? Just 0.2? Just 2 decimal places like that? Oh, the F. Thank you. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, telling it that it's a floating point number. All right. 1, 2. Hey, look at that. We have some money. Nothing in the mattress, 2% in the bank. Not much in bonds that year. Not a great year in bonds. Actually, less than 2%. That happens, right? Said bonds was only 0.84%. It's all right. And then stocks, 43%. Woo, 1928. Actually, that's probably right before the crash, isn't it? Isn't that right before the Great Depression? Yeah, when did that start? Because these numbers look bad. Right. Yeah, don't retire during a depression. That's your pro tip. Just don't retire then. Yeah, I mean, yeah, don't do it. And go back 20 years and buy a house when they were cheap. That's your other mistake there. All right, so I think that part's working so far. Right, quick little check of that. And then we should now be able to have our balances all ready to write out eventually. Oh, do we get our adjusted for inflation? Right? So that should just be 2% less, right? Not a whole lot here, not a big hit to it. And then when we're done, we want to write our CSV writer here. And honestly, I don't remember. Let me see if it's in our GitHub here. We can just Google it. I think we had it there, right? 298. We did CSV writing, didn't we? Files. Yeah, okay, yeah, we did a CSV there. CSV, that was reading. This was writing. Okay. Writer, we wrote the row, and we closed it. Okay. Oh, look at that. I had to bang it last time. That's fine. But now I can copy off myself. Do we cite that? I don't. Sure, why not? I, I would probably not expect you to have to cite how to use open with a CSV file. I would be okay with you not citing that. Is that fair? Because we did this example in class and you just changed a couple lines. Uh, so don't, I'm just adding it because, sure. This is our balances.csv. And then we need a CSV file, right? Or no, we need to import. Whoa, no. So import CSV. All right. And then for balance in balances, write the row for balance. It's already a list though, so I think we can just write the balance. Maybe we just call write rows actually. So CSV writer, write rows, giving it balances. Let's just see if we can give it all because we have the list of lists, right? Hopefully that works for us here. Um, adding in a new line, we'll find out if that works or not for us, I guess. Let's see. So we'll just do it for like 2 years here, right? Just to get two different rows, hopefully here. So 100, 100, 100, and 100. And we'll just do nothing each year. Here's a balances CSV file. All right, is it going to work? Yes or no? What are we voting on? Is it working on the first try? You think, yeah, okay, we got one vote for yes, a vote for yes. You guys believe me way too much. All right, got to vote for no. Let's see it. Oh, I think it did work. That's amazing. Right, here's our header row. Here's all the data rows here. So if we wanted, then we come over here and say, hey, let's open this thing in Excel, our favorite CSV reader here. It looks like it works. How fun is that? All right. So then the next thing here that's just worth showing you here. Let's do run on this here. So we're going to blow away the old one. That's okay. So we'll say about how old do you think you'll be when you graduate? 22, 23, 30, 40. Some of us are a little older. That's okay. Um, if we go for the traditional, you're probably like 22. Okay, so we'll say 22. Now, by the time you guys get to retirement age, it'll have moved again because they keep moving the goalposts so that Social Security doesn't become insolvent and all sorts of fun things. So I'm guessing 70 is my guess here. You know, who knows? It's 68 for full retirement right now, but it's going to move here. Um, almost guaranteed. There's no way it's staying at 68 with people living as long as they live nowadays. So, um, and it's going to run out of money anyway. So, uh, we'll just say 70 here. All right. So let's start all of our accounts with $100 here. Right. And then let's do nothing for 48 years. Right. So a bunch of zeros. Very exciting. There we go. So at the end of the time, at 2% here, which we've just matched for inflation, bank is doubled and a half, not a whole lot, right? The bonds done a little better, basically quadrupled here. Stocks are up. I don't even know the percentage on that one here. Is that 4,000%? No, because every 100 is a double, right? 200%, or is it off the base? I don't remember how you do that here. So we start with $100, and now it's at 4,000. Where'd it go? Right, but then big number here, adjusted for inflation, though, way down low again. Because 48 years of inflation at 2% means the purchasing power is really of this much is only going to get you about this much in today's dollars here. And that's if it stays at 2% and we don't have the crazy like 10% inflation like we had, because that compounds really badly pretty quick here. All right. So again, not the biggest number here, but $100 in and nothing else here. Great. So now let's say we actually go start saving some money. Let's pretend to do that here. So 22 going to age 70 here. We'll just put $100 in each here. Why not? Maybe you got a graduation present, right? And of course you're going to stick it on your mattress and not go spend it on anything. Sure. So let's just go add to stock. So every year, so if you can put $50 a month in, that's $600 a year, right? $50 a month. Hopefully, once you've got a job, will be pretty easy. Hopefully, again, yeah. Don't. That's all right. We don't have to get started on that. We'll say 600, right? Right, and then we'll go to the next year, and we'll add money to stocks. We'll add $600, and then we'll go to the next year, and we'll add money to stocks. We'll add $600. We'll go to the next year. We'll add $600 to stocks. Oh goodness, that was the wrong one. Uh, Stocks. That was 600, right? And they go to the next year. So 600, go to the next year. 600, go to the next year. 600, go to the next year. At some point, you're probably going to be making more money than when you first got hired after a couple of years, hopefully. Um, just another pro tip for you: don't stay at the same company. It does not pay to be loyal to a company because they're just going to fire you anyway when they have layoffs. They don't care about you. But if you move around, you can increase your salary much faster. They're not going to be like, hey, we want to give you more money all of a sudden. Companies aren't going to do that, right? Because they want to make money. So you have to move companies and take your experience elsewhere to get more money, right? Way better in the long run for you. You know, increase your salary much faster, and hopefully get better experience too, being lots of different places.
Eric, what's the longest you stayed at a place?
Uh, just about 10 years
Oh,
at the software company,
yeah.
but I was bored for the last couple of years, and then got into teaching. So hopefully I don't get bored of teaching. I've been doing it part time since 2012. I haven't been doing it. I've been full time since 2020. Um, I'm not bored of it yet. We'll see.
More than 5 years.
Yeah, you know, maybe it's interesting. So and I've talked to some guys who really like what they do. Dr. Maxim's awesome. Like he could have retired years ago.
Okay.
I think he said he's 70, 72 or something. He just likes teaching. It's like he likes his classes and he's a tenured prof, so he doesn't have to do things that he doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, if they tell him to do something he doesn't want to do, he says, no, fire me. Whatever. Yeah, yeah. New people and like, everything's changing still. And that's what I liked about software. Like there's always something new to learn, new things we're doing. Yeah.
Why extend your like unhiring?
Lots of reasons. So you can get fired, but you have to be really bad to do it. It takes essentially the board of regents approving you getting fired.
Is that a meeting thing?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Tenure in universities is pretty cool. It also has some downsides because then you get people who should have retired and do suck at their job and they just sit around and collect a paycheck here. But ideally, we attract good people, and it's supposed to give you more academic freedom so that you can say things that piss people off and not get fired for it. Was the idea why we had this tenure system in the American university system. Um, so like you can be the one pushing for change and saying controversial things, and they can't do anything about it. Was the idea. So if you go to Florida, they got rid of it because they said no, we want to fire people for saying things we don't like. And then our former president was like, yeah, I want to go to Florida, be the president of the university there. And they said sure. And then they said, oh, just kidding. So Yeah. Oh no. No one was sad to see him go. So that's okay. Maybe some people were. My apologies. I'm very biased here, but that's okay. Um, I was upset just when we hired him because we gave him like some ridiculous tens of thousands of dollars to ship his cellos, specifically in his contract. Like why that was a carve out for this guy who's making $500,000 a year, needed a couple extra thousand from us from our tuition dollars to ship his cellos. Like I love the cello. I play the cello. I have a cello, but uh, so we got a little off track. My apologies here, but that happens. It's okay. It's good stuff. And I do like that you can learn other things rather than just code because that's the fun stuff. But ideally, you're making more money after a couple years, right? So we did about 10 years or so probably here, right? So let's go to the next year and then we'll say, let's add some money to our stocks. And now we're making a little bit more money. Maybe we can put $100 a month in. So like 1,200 bucks a year, right? Again, maybe. Hopefully by 10 years, your student loans are paid off or close to paid off or sure, whatever it is here. Um, that's all right. So we added that. We'll go to the next year. We'll add some money. We'll add 1,200. Go to the next year. We'll add some money. Go to the next year. Add some money. Go to the next year. Add some money. Right. So sure, we put some money in here, and then let's just run it to the end. I don't know how many years it's been. We probably should output what the year is or your age. That'd be nice to put in here. Maybe we can do that, right? So we can do um, at age, and that'll be current age plus year, age plus the year, right? That'll be a little bit easier for later when we're tracking here, but that's fine. We'll just go to the next year, on and on and on and on. Get to the end here and see how we did. It was 50 bucks a month and 100 bucks a month for a couple of years here. Now we're at 430,000 here, and we only put a couple thousand in, like maybe 10,000 in. Not too shabby, right? And so we can check our Excel file here. Usually the easiest way to view it here, our Excel file. Convert large numbers to scientific notation. No, do not convert. Scientific notation is gross. All right. So it looks like we should be trimming some of these numbers here when we write them because that's coming out ugly. Um, so should we round them when we put them in? That's obnoxious. I feel like we should probably round them though. So we've done all the things here then. You can just round them off, I guess, here then. Mattress money equals mattress money dot round. Sure. Bank money dot round. Bond money equals bonds money dot round. Okay, we could do it on a one-liner. That's fine. This is extra lines of code is fine. Stocks money dot round. Anyway, that'll just make it look a little bit nicer here when we're done. But we should be able to take this and graph it here. Now, the mattress savings, like nothing happens here as we go. This is kind of the fun one. That'd be nice to graph here. Be cool if we put age in as well, right? We could throw age in there. Right? Age was 22 and equals this plus 1. There we go. All right. So now we can be able to graph this here. So we can insert. Do you think it's going to recommend the right chart for us here? That's the wrong axis. Did not recommend that one. This one is a better axis here. Right? Age and balance. Is that what we want? Maybe? No, that none of these are. Well, they're all ugly. What is that? I think the recommended one is bad here. That's okay. um, probably good enough here, right? This one looks okay. Here's our lovely graphic now for our savings from age to no, still not doing what we want here, is it? Maybe we want age and balance. Kind of wanted the other one here, actually. Let me flip those columns around. It's upset sometimes. Now let's try it. Recommended chart. We just want to make this look pretty. Not a histogram. How about a line graph? This was supposed to be a lot faster, sorry. Excel's usually much better at this here. A lot of line chart. More line charts. Line chart. Why is it not picking up my data? Is it upset with all these because they're weird values here? I guess we can round them. Number. Get rid of all my decimal places. What is happening with all my decimal places here? All those numbers. All of them are numbers. This was supposed to be faster, sorry. No, this one too is a number. Format painter? Come on. It's still nothing. Wow, numbers stored as text. Yeah. Oh, okay. So we do need to convert them to numbers. Oh my goodness. That's why it wasn't graphing right. Okay. Well, I don't want to have to do that to all of them. Can I do it? Yeah. Mass convert? Convert. Hey, there we go. All right. Get rid of that ugly one. No, the whole chart. All right, and then we can take down some decimal places here. There we go. Now we should be able to graph these things. Hopefully. Insert. Let's see what it recommends. That's a little bit nicer here, but we just want to start at 20 here. All right, there we go. Look, we took a big hit there. There's a big downturn in the stocks at some point. That happens, so don't retire then. Uh, yeah, that's your pro tip. 67. Yeah, like just before. Yeah, and that's the downside. So that was what probably the 40 years 60s, right? That'd have been in the 60s. So we started in 28 or so, or no 70s. Where was that in our file? Mid 70s. 1870s. Where's the big hit? Yeah, 14% down, 25% down. So yeah, losing 25% of your savings before retiring is not ideal. And again, this is just a terrible estimator here. There's better financial advice says you should change how you are invested and things like that, and you want less risk. The closer you are to retirement, stocks are considered a risky investment because they do things like wild swings like this, 50% up, 50% down. So if you move more of your investments into safer things, they're much less swingy here. Bonds generally don't lose money here. Again, they'll go down a little bit occasionally. It's a whole thing. It's okay. Talking to an actual financial planner here, I just like numbers because they're fun here. But you know, having money where it can make 26%, 30% is pretty good here. It's sad to miss out on that, but you want some sort of diversification and having assets in different categories and all that fun stuff. All right, that was fun. Maybe was that fun at all? Interesting. So interesting, yeah. All right, at least interesting, I hope. Right. So again, we didn't put too much money in, and we ended up with 430,000 by the end, putting in 10, 20K, right? So imagine consistent growth every single year, right? Does relatively well, right? Okay, that's the moral of the story here. So then hopefully all the rounding works a little bit better now that this won't be so terrible here. I don't. It's okay if you had some weird numbers in your output here. Like making it pretty is not necessarily the goal. That was just our practice. Okay, that took longer than I thought it would. I'm sorry. Thought that'd be a little bit quicker. We had too much fun with it. I'm sorry. All right. So let me commit that to GitHub. 298. So here's project 2. Oh, not the filter. Sorry. This one, project 2. Commit and push. All right. I want to show you Python web services here. So we'll go to the Python book here. Just again, we'll do more of this next week here for our web services. He's got a whole chunk on XML here, which is a way of formatting data. This is mostly gone out of style, and even admits it's mostly gone out of style here. Um, it is good, and it does a lot of really cool stuff, but we don't see it very often anymore. So it exists. If you happen to run into it, go look it up. It's not the end of the world. It looks very similar to HTML. If you've ever done any web programming here, you have tags for things, open tags, ending tags. Sure, that's what it is. But most of the time now, we use JSON. our JavaScript object notation because JavaScript is taking over the world, which is it's okay. I don't really enjoy JavaScript, but that's okay. Uh, so the JavaScript object notation works as a very easy way of sending data. Now, what you don't get all the time here is some of the additional pieces that you would get from XML. So XML can have additional cool things defined in it here to give you more context and more formatting and more information about it. JSON's a little bit more sparse because it's essentially a dictionary, right? So it's works with dictionaries and lists like right off the bat. So it can be imported into Python and other languages into their dictionary lists super easily. It just converts it right away. Um, so to parse it, we use the JSON library. Right? There's a built-in library for it, right? Everybody does it. Here's pretty easy. So you say loads and you give it some JSON. It will go load that JSON and convert it into your dictionary format or list of dictionaries or whatever it has to be. So this one is a list with dictionaries inside of it. Here, either the root is either a list or a dictionary. Either one's okay. You'll get something back out here, and you can see what all those items are. So we can steal his example. Why not here? So we start a new project. This is week 5, web services. I don't remember if I told it to make a file or not. And goodness, yeah, sure, use that one. You should note we stole this from Dr. Chuck here. So if we've got something here, right, it's a list of items. Those items have dictionaries, a key and an associated value. Here's an ID, an X, something, whatever, and a name. I don't know what the X is, but that's fine. So we can load it up. We can see how many items were in it here, and we can go get all those values back out here because they're dictionaries, right? Get the key or the value associated with that key for every item in that info list here. And it spits it back out pretty quickly here. Now, this is just working with it statically here. I'm giving it some sort of JSON code here. Not the most interesting thing. So what's more fun to do is you can go get JSON from a website. So lots of websites out there now have some sort of JSON interface where you can go get some data. Typically, so the SOA was the older approach. This was usually more XML based. Usually we'll use REST based services for their API to get our JSON stuff. Login. He doesn't have even good examples of it, which is a little bit sad, but that's okay. There was a pet JSON API. I forget. There was one. I just looked it up here. Is it Pet Store? I think it was the Pet Store one. Yeah, here's an example API of some pets in a pet store, apparently. Where do we go get it from here? It's got. Does it not give us. Where's the actual API itself? Pet store. Yeah, okay. This one here. So the Swagger Pet Store here tells us how to go get something. So it's fun. You can even go grab some JSON information right from their site here. It's going to tell you how to go use it. But what we're going to do is we're going to send web requests. But we don't need to do it the slow way, right? Because we have some libraries to do it. Right? We looked at some of the libraries last time, the URL lib to send stuff out. We don't need to open our own sockets, create our own sockets, go write some data, read some data, do all the filtering. We'll just use the library and go send it through. So we don't need any authorized bits here. Getting logged in is another whole step. We're going to skip that because it's not the focus here. That's a good thing, but for now, that's okay. So there's a couple different kinds of requests you can send with web traffic. Most of them are GET requests. That's what we usually do is GET requests. So we want to get some information out. So if you just go to Google or Bing here and you want to search for what is a web request, it shows up in the query string itself. That's a GET request here. We're sending it through as a URL here, and it goes into the URL itself. That's our GET request. So if you put something into the URL, you're adding it to the GET request here. So we can programmatically add stuff here. So the Swagger API says, okay, hey, let's go get a pet for a given ID. So you would plug in the ID that you wanted to get the information for that pet from when you send the request. So you don't just send a request out and get all of the pets. You can send a specific pet information. So this is the API that says, okay, if you want one particular pet, put that in the URL when you give it to me here. So that's the get. Um, a post here is how you would add new data. So posts are usually when you submit forms. Those are mostly done with posts. Again, this is behind the scenes stuff. We don't need to worry about adding new things here for our purposes. Um, Most of everything we're just going to do is gets. We're just going to read information out. Uh, but if the API lets you interact with it and add information to it, you would go post something to add it. So, hey, here's the pet ID, and maybe I want to add an image, or here's the post, and when I add the pet, so you can say, hey, let's go add a pet. So it's giving you an example of what we would add. Right? Any tags we have for the pet, the name, the URL for the photos, categories, whatever, status, whatever happens to be here. Look at it, you can even show you the XML. That's fun. So that's the example for posting a new pet here. You could delete. There's a delete command you can run, or a delete web request you can run to delete information here, or a put that's used for updating. So when we look at information, you can read information, you can update information, you can add information, you can delete information. Usually we call them CRUD operations. We can create, read, update, and delete. For some reason that stuck with me here. We do those with gets, puts, posts, and deletes. Uh, and you can do that for each kind of URL. So you can say, hey, this is the pet version I want here. I want to look at stores. Hey, what's in your store inventory? Give me all of the pets in your inventory for this given store. You can get a specific order ID. So you can use your web requests to interact with this here, right? The API is all web-based. So this is a RESTful API. It uses REST web services. Um, so that's always fun. So this is now a super common way for us to interact with all sorts of things across the internet here. REST-based API services are huge. So we could send something through for a pet. I don't know if there's a given pet out there. ID. Try it out. There we go. Pet ID 1. Execute. So it's sending the request to pet/1. And oh, failed to reach. Oh goodness. Really? Wait, but now I got back a success. Right? You get back a success? I'm kind of confused. That's all right. So you can plug these in by hand here. Let's see if it gives us anything back. Yeah. Oh, why is it giving me that? I want the JSON. That's ugly. But here's the dog. Oh, cat. I'm sorry. That's a cat. Here. But the name is dog? I think their data is a little bit funky here. But it's just an example of how we could interact with it uh, for the pet. Clear. Why is it not authorized? Do I have to authorize? I need a key? That's obnoxious. I don't want to have to authorize. Use special key. Here we go. To test the authorization filters. That can do it for me. Authorize. How does that work? Execute. Clear. Execute. Still didn't. Okay. Not entirely sure. I've looked at this one before. There's another coin JSON API. Is it coin API.io? It might be this one. Yeah, there's another one. Market data API. I don't want free credits. There was one that was free here. Uh, yeah, free for crypto. Freecryptoapi.com. I can find one for you here. I know there's a good one here. CoinCap, Coin API. That one didn't seem like it was free though. Coin Market Cap. I clicked it. Free API for everyone. Get a free key. Look at that. Get symbol. Missing parameter. Of course. Yeah, I don't want. All right, there's also the Marvel API. That one's always fun here. Um, oh, public APIs.io. There we go. Where's the? They not have it anymore? Get help? No. All right, that didn't go so well then. Where's the API for it? Gatewaymarvel.com? Is that it? I wonder if they stopped doing it because everyone used their API for an example. I think Yahoo used to have one too. Market Stack. Any of these? Yahoo Finance API. Yeah, that's the one we want. So we want the Yahoo Finance. Theirs would be good. So you can find Yahoo. They even have a library for Python library for it. That's cool. By finance. We don't have to do it by hand. YF API finance chart symbol. All right, let's try that. See if we get anything here. And then our symbol. What should we look up? GameStop. Need an API key. Goodness gracious. I just wanted the free one. Oh, there's the API key. Just add. I wanted to find a quick one we could use. I'm sorry. Um, so none of them here are showing us the free API. Finance, visit API. Clicking dangerous links here. Yeah, that's yahoofinanceapi.com. That doesn't seem right. Yeah, that. Oh yeah, that was this one here. Yahoo Finance API. Just have to get the key. Ah, all right, I'll try and find a fun one for you then. I don't have any right now. Um, there was a Coinbase one. I don't know. I'll find one for you. We can do that. We'll start it next week then for the project. So you've got an API you can work off of. Uh, so I want it to actually work here, but I'm not. Okay, API. Full Pokemon API. There we go. Let's find Ditto. Whoa! All right. Look at that. So, all right, let's try that. Thank you. So we got JSON here. So we need to go get that data. So we need our Python uh, URL lib get JSON. We'll just Google that real quick. JSON loads the response. Awesome. Oh goodness, where did it go? URL lib JSON load and print the data. We just use the URL lib. Open. Is it two? All right, whatever then. We'll just use the two. Two. And we should be able to go import the package here, right? Let's go. No. Go to our settings. Python interpreter. And go add a package. URL lib 2. No? URL lib. Nothing. Really? Oh my goodness. There's a bunch of different ones. There's 3, there's 4. What one did we do just the other day? I'm so tired right now. I definitely need more coffee. Which one did we use? GitHub. So I write it down. 98. Did I not even commit it? No, week 5. There we go. We did. Oh, it was web. Oh, dot request. There we go. Okay, so we can add our own request here using. We'll fix this up here. There we go. Look at that example here. We'll see what's in here. All right. And that was from thing something or other. What did we ask for? There we go. Should put that at the top. All right. So here's the URL we want to get it from. There we go. URL lib request URL open. Sure. Get the response here. Response decodes it, load the JSON, returns it. If there's errors, we get errors. That's fine. Um, so don't need any of that nonsense. So we're going to go to that Poke API. Thank you for that. We'll get ditto here. Go get some results. And if it's not none, fetched it, dump it out. We'll go look at the indentation. This helps pretty print. See what we get here. Really? Did it not? Didn't it work from our browser? It worked from our browser. Well, the pretty print is a nice button there. Does it not like it because it's coming from? It might just detect we're hitting it from here. You can try that. Yeah, forbid it failed to set JSON. It doesn't like our try it free, direct link, documentation. Thanks for ads. Only gets, yes, we can only go get it here. Fair use. Uh, Poke base with auto caching. There we go. It's nice. Poke API endpoint. It looks like it should just come out there, right? Should we just go get berries? Here's the Pokemon ID or name, right? Huh. I'll play a little bit more with it. Sorry. Usually they just work here. That's obnoxious. So we'll on Tuesday then, no, on Monday, we'll come back and we'll start the next project. Okay. All right. Thanks, folks.